Before we get started with today's video, I just want to give a shout out to two people on YouTube. The first of which is Engineering Scale Models. So Engineering Scale Models is a ex-engineer who used to work on power supplies and things like that, but now he works on consoles such as Xbox Ones and Nintendo Switches. So we're trying to get him to 1,000 subscribers by the end of January, so if you could head over to his channel and subscribe, show him some love, that would be absolutely fantastic. And the next person I want to give a shout out to is Micro Repair. Micro Repair is trying very hard to build a channel, and he currently has 101 subscribers, so if we could help him to build his channel, as you can see here, he has quite a lot of Nintendo Switch and PS4 stuff and other repair stuff. But if we could help him build his channel and try and get him to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible, that would be absolutely fantastic. As you can see, he uploads an awful lot of videos, so if you have any issues with things like Nintendo Switches and PlayStation 4s, if you want to learn how to solder and things like that, be sure to check out his channel and subscribe, show him some love and help him to grow on YouTube. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. Right, so this one's been sent in because it has had a replacement port and it still won't charge. So as you can see there, it originally came in for a USB-C port replacement, and after the port replacement it won't charge, but it does work with a known good battery, so it's obviously got some sort of collateral damage. Console Repair London has put a brand new port on it. As you can see, that is a brand spanking new port. So Console Repair London's put a brand new port on it, but it's still not charging. So I have just tried to turn it on in the house, and it does turn on, but the battery's obviously dead. So you can see he's turning on, and it would turn on with a charged battery. As you can see, we've got the battery symbol there. If I plug a charger into it, we get nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I'll flip it around just to check the other side. And we still get nothing. So no charging symbol. So it's not turning on at all. And according to my USB ammeter, it's drawing 0.00 amps. So it's drawing absolutely nothing. So this is either going to be one of two things. It's going to be, one of three things. It's going to be a bad USB-C port. So a bad installation of the port, which is very, very unlikely. And the reason for that is because I've seen the kind of work that Console Repair London does, and I know exactly how he changes these ports. He uses a IR Pro, well, the SCOTUL version of it. And he uses his top plate, he puts the heat directly on it, heats it up, and drops a new port straight on top. And he's got a 100% success rate doing it that way. So basically, I know for a fact the port's going to be good. Even though I haven't done it myself, I know this port is going to be good. So I'm going to rule that out straight away. So the next thing it could be is M92T36. That's the power management IC, which is very likely. It's very likely to be M92T36. But the other thing that it could be is P13 USB. But I don't think it's going to be P13 USB. I think it's most likely going to be some sort of collateral damage on M92T36. But, you know, I could be wrong. It could be completely different. It could be completely unrelated. But as far as I know, there's not going to be any water damage, because I would have been told. So, yeah, let's just see what we can do. See if we can get it fixed. It should be a relatively straightforward repair. Keyword there is, of course, should. As you can see, it is absolutely pristine. There we go. Board is removed. So let's just take a look. So let's pop under the scope then. Right, so the first place I'm going to be focusing on is the USB-C port itself, which is this here. And it's slightly out of line, which is quite strange because I don't usually see that with the repairs that Chris from Console Repair London does. It is very slightly out of line, but it does look good. Yeah, so all of those pins are connected. We can't check the bottom pins obviously, but we can check them ones. So I'm going to pop the multimeter on. I'm going to run a few tests. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into continuity mode. There we go. So continuity mode is the mode that beeps when we complete the circuit. So let's just pop one probe on this end of this fuse, the other probe on this end, and the fuse appears to be good. So that's absolutely fine, no problems with that. Let's just make sure we haven't got a short to ground on that fuse, so we'll check it against this pin, and that is good. Let's check for continuity from the top of the fuse to the pin, and absolutely, so that's connected fine. Right, so next let's check this coil. Even though we are getting power to the console with a battery, coil is good. So I'm not going to check BQ because BQ controls the battery and we are getting power. I just wanted to check that coil because it's a bit of a troll sometimes. But let's take a look around M92. So M92T36 is a power management IC, a USB-C power management IC. And you can buy these from pretty much anywhere, but these tend to go bad when we have charging port issues. So it's what we call collateral damage. So I'm going to pop one probe on ground. In this case I'm going to use the shield, and I'm going to check these caps around M92. No short. No short. No short, and we have a short. So you can see we've got a short on both sides of this cap here, so that means M92 is bad. 100% sure of that. And I'm not keen on the look of this here as well. What's that? Oh, never mind, that's factory stuff. That's just factory gunk. That's fine. I thought that was a torn pad, but it's not. Right, let's carry on testing a couple more caps on here. And that one's good. That's fine. And that's fine. Okay, so let's flip the board around. I'm going to check the P13 out before I do anything else. So I just want to check one cap on here, and then I can check the EMI filters. I just want to make sure that if I change M92T36 that we're not going to have any issues with docking. So P13 USB is a USB-C HDMI IC. And that appears to be good. So let's check these filters then. So these are EMI filters. So these filter out noise on the HDMI circuit. Sometimes these can blow. And they're good. Right, so I did go a little bit out of focus there, but never mind. So according to the test, the only thing wrong with this is M92. So I'm going to get that changed, and that should fix the issues. Right, so let's get this chip removed then. So I'm using 440 degrees Celsius and 40% airflow to remove this chip. There we go. So there's the old chip removed. I'm going to get a brand new chip, or what is supposed to be a brand new chip, but they are from AliExpress and they do have solder on them, so I'm not so sure that they're brand new, but they do work. So the seller that sells me these, I did contact him and ask him, and they said that they test every chip and they are individually packaged in little sealable bags, so it's believable to a certain extent, but then at the same time I think these are donor board pulls, but I think they do test them. And if you notice, there is writing on them as well. So they write something on them. Whether that means, you know, confirmed good or what, I don't know. Maybe they solder them onto a breakout board. But as you can see there, they do come pre-applied with solder, which is weird to say the least. But that said, it actually makes them easier to solder, so I don't mind. These chips are not notoriously difficult to install, but every little helps. So I'll heat the area up first. And then just drop that down to tack it into place. You'll notice I didn't even change the solder on that. That's because it's absolutely not required. Right, so now the chip's tacked down slightly, I can apply some flux just around the edge of the chip, and this chip should now centre itself. Right, so I'm just going to reflow this, it should centre itself, I don't even have to touch it. 3, 2, 1. There we go, that's centered. You'll see that it did just drop down. Now it's going to call me a liar, and I'm going to have to tap it slightly. That should be in place now. And perfect solder joints all the way around. And that's in position. Check this side. And yep, that's in position as well. Let's check the bottom. Perfect. And side is perfect. Beautiful. Right, just look at how unsteady my hands am today, guys. Just look at how unsteady my hands am today. That is ridiculous. I cannot keep my hands still. Right, so I'm just going to heat it back up again. Just get some heat in the board so as I can clean off the flux. And then I'm going to use some isopropyl alcohol and a toothbrush. And that's going to let me clean up all the flux that was left by the last technician as well. And we'll do the back as well because there's flux there. There we go. Beautiful. Nice and clean. Right, let's give that a test. Oh, I'm expecting great things with this. So LCD in first, that stops it from damaging the connector. or at least reduces the chances. Don't really want to be giving a free connector job away. And full. There we go. Right, so I've took a bit of a shot in the dark and reassembled this fully before I've tested it, so let's hope it's not going to come back and bite me in the butt. Let's see if we get anything now. We do not. That's interesting. We definitely had a short on M92. Could be the charger though. Right, it's charging there, that side. It is charging now. I did try both sides, so it's at least charging one way. Let's try an official charger. So proper Nintendo Switch charger, because that's going to be the fastest way to charge it. So it is charging one way. So we're charging that way. And we're charging that way. So it was just my charger, but I did try both sides at the start of the video. So that is absolutely charging now. So I'm going to have to leave that there for 10 minutes just to get a bit of power. And then I can give it a full test. Right, so it's been 5 or 10 minutes. This has turned on. It turned on pretty quickly, so we should be good to go. So I'm just going to give it a full test. So we're on 4% right now, which means it is charging. Let me just flip it around and I'll see if it charges it the other way. So sometimes it can say it's charging, but in reality it's backfeeding into the charger, which it should never do. But it does do that sometimes, where it'll actually backfeed and drain the battery, and it'll charge the charger, if that makes sense. So once we know that it's rising in percentage on one way, then we put it into we flip the lead around and make sure it's charging the other way, and make sure the battery percentage increases going the other way as well, so make sure it's not backfeeding on one side of the charger, because I have known that to happen in the past, and that's been cases where I've either had a faulty M92 or a faulty BQ. So I always make sure it charges both ways and the percentage actually increases both ways. So I'm looking for that to get to 5% now. It shouldn't take long. We are on the official 15 volt charger, and that is on 5%, so that should be good to go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to give it a full test. So the first thing I'm going to test is the controllers. So I'm going to hook some Joy-Cons up to it now. These are test Joy-Cons. They don't work very well, but they do work. So I'll just hook a couple of Joy-Cons up. This one has got a missing button. And that one connects and it is charging, which means that the fan is also going to be working. And that one could be dead. So I've had a few issues with this Joy-Con before, but that one's not connecting. Let me get another one. I do have more, so I can test more. And now is when it comes and bites me in the bum, because that one's not connecting. So it might need a replacement Joy-Con rail as well, which kind of sucks, because that means I've got to take it back apart. I did 100% connect up the Joy-Con. Yep, so this is probably going to need a new Joy-Con rail. I'll carry on with the testing and I'll change the Joy-Con rail afterwards. So that's when it comes back and bites me in the bum, because now I've got to take it back apart again, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I didn't expect it to have an issue with the Joy-Con. I was confident in the repair, but I didn't expect a Joy-Con issue. But never mind. That's just one of the things. Right, so let's test a game. Minecraft. So that connects. So that's working. Let's go to the settings, internet. Let's make sure it picks up the network. And let's connect to this one. And there's a little hidden message there if you're new to the channel. That's the password for the Wi-Fi. And there we go. So connects to the internet fine. Let's test controllers and sensors. Test input and test touchscreen. Touchscreen is good, and now I can't get back. Now I can't get back. Right, okay, never mind. Right, so let's test it on the dock then. So I'm going to hook this up to the capture card. And there we go, that is docking. So as you can see, that is connecting fine, and shouldn't be too much of an issue there. So yeah, happy days. I'm going to try a known good Joy-Con. So these are my own Joy-Cons from my own Switch. As you can see, my Switch is virtually brand new. And nothing. Yeah, nothing. So that Joy-Con rail isn't working for sure, because that Joy-Con 100% works. So as you'll see, there you go. My Joy-Con works. My test Joy-Con is actually switched on. That works. And my other test Joy-Con works. So I know my Joy-Cons are working 100%. Never mind. Never mind. Right, what are we on now? So we're on 16%, so we've got enough. So I'll try cleaning it first, but very much likely that it's going to need a new rail. But I will try and clean it. Let's use a newer toothbrush. Make sure we get down inside there. Now let's give it another try. So these Joy-Cons are working. Nope. Nope. Definitely not. Right, so that means I've got to open it back up. Never mind. It is what it is. So you'll notice I'm leaving it on charge for a little while I'm just disassembling the rest of it. The good news is the entire board hasn't got to come back out to change the Joy-Con rail, so it's not the end of the world. It just means an extra 5 minutes work. And that's what happens when I get a little bit cocky, I suppose. Right, so let's take a look at this Joy-Con rail then. So it might not be actually faulty, it might just not be plugged in properly. These ones are a pain in the backside to do, and yeah, it's just not installed properly. So that's my fault. Right, let's try that again now. That did push down. There you go. My fault. Alright, so I'm going to unsync these from my own. There you go. So, yeah. Told you those ones are a pain in the backside to those ones are a pain in the backside to actually plug in properly. But never mind. And there we go. Right, so that is pretty much that. So this is confirmed as working now. It's had a full test. Everything seems good. So I'll connect up a Joy-Con. And that works. And so does that one. Happy days. So let's go to the system settings. Data management, and where is it? Software, that's it. Minecraft, and delete software. There we go. I always make a point to delete the software off the console when I install it.
Let's just summarise then. So this
any
console
software I
was sent in
install
because
for testing,
I'll
make a point to
charging,
remove it
even though the
before it goes back to the
had been
customer.
replaced.
Reason for that is I don't want any software on there
that's
not necessary, because it just takes up space. So
M92T36.
yeah, that's going to be for that one. So the issue with this one was the
that's something that we call
console wouldn't
damage,
charge after a charger port replacement, and by replacing the M92T36,
pins inside the
we
port,
were able to get it to charge again,
and
everything else tested fine. So docking tested fine,
replacing
and everything else, such as the game card, touchscreen, Joy-Cons,
charge again,
Wi-Fi,
can gain again. But that's going to be
Bluetooth
video.
as well.
If you have any
So
comments or
Bluetooth
questions,
should work.
leave them down in the comment section down below. If you do want to see more repair videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications so that you're notified every time that I upload. I also now have channel members, so if you do want to support the channel, you can do so for as little as £1.99 per month, and all channel members get early access to most of my videos.
Bluetooth is working, because if it wasn't, then the Joy-Con wouldn't work.
See you later.
So everything appears to be testing absolutely fine. So there's another one done.